Let's check in on the Democrats. A new Quinnipiac University poll found that 57% have an unfavourable view of the Democratic Party. That comes as no surprise, but it appears that the Democrats haven't learnt anything. Here they are blaming racism and misogyny for the election loss.
How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat? Okay. So that's good. You all passed.
We're never going to hear the end of that, are we? This is just going to be their messaging for a long time.
It is going to be their messaging, and I think that what they're going to do next, and I don't know if I'm 100% right, but they're going to put Gavin Newsom up because he's a white guy, and they're going to be able to say that he won't be a victim of racism or misogyny, which is just provably false. Because if Kamala Harris was actually qualified, her being a woman would have given her an advantage, I believe, in this election. So it's just not true. The left has to make everything about race and gender truly being the racist ones. Because when you justify and label everybody by their race or, DEI instead of having a meritocracy, this is why we don't have qualified candidates. And this is why the Democratic Party is literally dying, because Kamala Harris, nobody liked her. And they didn't dislike her because she was a woman or because she was ethnically ambiguous. They didn't like her because she was untalented and she just cackled all the time. And she couldn't admit that even during her time as vice president, that their administration made any mistakes whatsoever. So people saw that she's a liar. That all got exposed and had nothing to do with the fact that she is a woman.
And I think they're in trouble if they want Gavin Newsom to lead. He's been a disaster for California, and we've seen that with the wildfire catastrophe that unfolded in January. But Donald Trump, he's saving the day. He issued an executive order on Sunday to call on federal agencies to overrule California's regulations on endangered species to create more water availability. And the order also calls on several federal agencies to conduct reviews of environmental programs in the state. Now, this is a win for people in California. They've been through so much and they needed action like this to be taken.
100%. And, it's not just the water. And, it is kind of sad that some fish are probably going to have their habitat affected. But trust me, for the hundreds of thousands of people that were displaced in California, they need the help more than a few thousand fish. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but that's why California is so insane. They would rather protect a fish that nobody cares about than protecting their own citizens. And it doesn't just start with the water issue. They need to do controlled burns. They need to go get dead debris that's over 6 feet tall. There's a lot of protocols that the government of California and Gavin Newsom were not following in order to stop a wildfire. So Donald Trump will literally now start a fire underneath California to go fix all these issues that should have been fixed. It doesn't make any sense that reservoirs didn't have water in them, or that they didn't have enough fire trucks, or that the fire hydrants weren't usable. None of that makes sense in a first world country and first world city like Los Angeles, arguably one of the biggest cities in the world. This should be a simple thing, having water to put out fires, but not in Los Angeles, California, because the leadership is just so incompetent.
Alex Stein, thank you so much for joining us. Great to chat with you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.